Every week, millions of Christian families walk into department stores they've trusted for years, filling their carts without a second thought. These stores feel safe and family-friendly, but what if the retailers you trust most are quietly promoting products and agendas that directly contradict your biblical values? From New Age spirituality disguised as wellness products to occult symbols marketed as trendy fashion for teenagers, and even corporate policies that openly oppose biblical principles, these 5 stores have something every Christian needs to know before their next shopping trip. Make sure you stay until the end, because the 5th store has sparked massive boycotts and has done more to openly oppose Christian values than any other major retailer in America. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our upcoming videos exposing more deceptions that affect Christians daily. And comment below the country you're watching from so we can see how global our community has become. Now let's begin with Costco, a store that seems completely harmless, but has quietly become one of the largest distributors of false spiritual teachings in America. Costco, founded in 1983, revolutionized American retail through its membership-based warehouse model that promises Christian families incredible savings on bulk purchases. With over 800 locations worldwide, this retail giant has earned the trust of millions of believers who see it as a smart, family-friendly way to stretch their budgets. The stores feel wholesome, the products seem practical, and the savings appear to be a blessing for large Christian households trying to be good stewards of their finances. But what most believers don't notice is what Costco strategically places in their book and media sections. The Bible warns us in Colossians 2:8, "See to it that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophy, which depends on human tradition and the elemental spiritual forces of this world, rather than on Christ." Costco's book tables have become one of the largest distribution channels for New Age spirituality in America. Authors like Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, and Rhonda Byrne dominate these displays, their books promising spiritual enlightenment and universal consciousness. These aren't presented as religious texts, but as self-help and personal development, making them appear harmless to unsuspecting Christians. Tolle's teachings about finding your true self through meditation directly contradict Jeremiah 17:9, which states that our hearts are deceitful above all things. Chopra's philosophy blends Hinduism with Western self-help, teaching readers to discover the God within themselves rather than submitting to the one true God revealed in Scripture. What makes Costco's approach particularly effective is the bulk buying psychology. Christian families don't just purchase one questionable book, they buy stacks of them as gifts for friends and family. The bestseller displays create social proof that convinces believers these teachings must be acceptable since everyone is reading them. Parents unknowingly fill their home libraries with materials teaching their children to seek spiritual answers through Eastern meditation rather than biblical truth. 2 Timothy 4:3-4 warned us, "For the time will come when people will not put up with sound doctrine. Instead, they will gather around them teachers to say what their itching ears want to hear." The strategic placement of these books at store entrances, at eye level, isn't accidental. It's intentional influence disguised as mainstream reading. Christian families who would never enter an occult bookstore regularly purchase teachings that undermine biblical Christianity because the Costco environment feels safe. Exercise discernment in their book section. Not everything promising peace and spiritual growth delivers what the Bible defines as true transformation. But Costco's promotion of false spiritual literature is just the beginning. What we're about to reveal about H&M shows how these influences target something even more personal, what your children wear on their bodies every single day. H&M, founded in Sweden in 1947, has become the world's second largest fashion retailer with over 5,000 stores across 74 countries. This fast fashion giant has mastered the art of providing trendy, affordable clothing that appeals especially to teenagers and young adults. Christian parents often see H&M as a budget-friendly solution for keeping their kids stylishly dressed without breaking the bank. But beneath the appealing prices and modern aesthetics lies a concerning pattern that most believers completely overlook. The company has systematically normalized occult and astrological symbols as fashionable accessories for young people. Deuteronomy 18:10-12 clearly warns, "Let no one be found among you who practices divination or sorcery, interprets omens, or engages in witchcraft. Anyone who does these things is detestable to the Lord." Walk through any H&M store and you'll find graphic tees featuring zodiac signs, third-eye imagery, moon phases, and pentagram designs marketed as trendy self-expression. Their jewelry section prominently displays astrological pendants, mystical symbol earrings, and accessories celebrating spiritual practices that directly oppose biblical Christianity. These items aren't hidden in obscure corners. They're placed front and center, specifically targeting young Christians who want to fit in with current fashion trends. What seems like harmless style choices actually represents the normalization of symbols that have deep spiritual significance in witchcraft and New Age spirituality. Isaiah 47:13-14 speaks directly against such practices. "Let your astrologers come forward. Those stargazers who make predictions month by month, they are like stubble, the fire will burn them up." Beyond the spiritual concerns, H&M has faced serious ethical controversies that should trouble any Christian consumer. Investigations have repeatedly exposed exploitative labor practices in their supply chain, with workers in developing countries facing dangerous conditions and poverty wages. The company's fast fashion model encourages constant consumption and waste, contradicting biblical principles of stewardship and contentment. When Christian teenagers wear H&M clothing covered in astrological symbols, they unknowingly become walking advertisements for practices the Bible condemns, while also supporting a business model built on questionable ethics. Proverbs 31:8-9 calls us to speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves and defend the rights of the poor and needy. Christian parents need to pay closer attention to what their children are wearing. Fashion may seem superficial, but the symbols we display on our bodies matter. When your teenager wears a shirt celebrating their zodiac sign or jewelry featuring mystical symbols, they're making a spiritual statement whether they realize it or not. Have honest conversations with your kids about why these symbols conflict with biblical faith, and help them find ways to express their style without compromising their Christian witness. But if H&M's strategy of targeting young people through fashion concerns you, wait until you see the scale of what Walmart is doing. America's largest retailer has transformed its wellness aisles into something that would shock most Christian shoppers. Walmart, America's largest retailer since 1962, serves over 230 million customers weekly across more than 10,500 stores worldwide. For decades, Christian families have trusted Walmart as their one-stop shop for groceries, household essentials, and everyday necessities at unbeatable prices. The familiar blue logo represents convenience, savings, and family values for millions of believers across America. But something significant has changed in Walmart stores that most Christians haven't noticed. Their wellness and health departments have quietly evolved into distribution centers for New Age spirituality, selling products that promote healing practices completely foreign to biblical Christianity. Jeremiah 17:5 warns, "Cursed is the one who trusts in man, who draws strength from mere flesh and whose heart turns away from the Lord." Datul, walk through Walmart's wellness aisles today and you'll find crystal healing kits promising to restore energy balance, essential oils marketed for chakra alignment, and bath products designed for spiritual cleansing rituals. These items sit right alongside legitimate health products, creating the impression that crystal healing and chakra balancing are just alternative approaches to wellness rather than spiritual practices rooted in Hinduism and New Age philosophy. Product descriptions encourage customers to use these items for removing negative energy, connecting with universal healing power, and achieving spiritual awakening. This language comes directly from occult practices, yet Walmart presents it as mainstream self-care. James 5:14-15 teaches the biblical approach to healing. Is anyone among you sick? Let them call the elders of the church to pray over them and anoint them with oil in the name of the Lord. The scale of Walmart's influence makes this particularly concerning. When the world's largest retailer normalizes these practices, it sends a powerful message that crystal healing and energy work are acceptable alternatives for everyone, including Christians. Parents shopping for vitamins and cold medicine find their children attracted to colorful crystal kits and mood stones displayed nearby. The stores don't distinguish between products based on scientific evidence and those based on spiritual beliefs that contradict Scripture. Everything sits together on the same shelves, suggesting equivalent legitimacy. Christian families gradually become desensitized to practices that previous generations would have immediately recognized as incompatible with biblical faith. Walmart's position as a trusted family retailer gives these products undeserved credibility. Many Christians who would never visit a New Age shop or crystal store think nothing of purchasing these same items at Walmart because the environment feels familiar and safe. But the source doesn't change the spiritual nature of the product. A crystal healing kit promotes the same false beliefs, whether purchased at a specialty occult shop or at your local Walmart. Be vigilant about what you bring into your home, regardless of where you buy it. But what we're about to reveal next takes this issue to an even more serious level. When pharmacies that Christians trust for their medical needs start promoting spiritual healing alternatives, the deception becomes truly dangerous. CVS and Walgreens, America's two largest pharmacy chains with over 20,000 combined locations, have served as trusted healthcare providers for generations of Christian families. Founded in 1963 and 1901 respectively, these pharmacies represent more than just retail stores. They're institutions where Americans seek legitimate medical help, fill prescriptions from their doctors, and trust the products they purchase to actually work. When you walk into a pharmacy, you expect science-based healthcare, not spiritual practices disguised as medicine. But something troubling has emerged in these trusted establishments. Their wellness sections now prominently feature products promising healing through crystals, chakras, and spiritual energy. Acts 4:12 reminds us, "Salvation is found in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given to mankind by which we must be saved." The positioning of these products is what makes CVS and Walgreens particularly deceptive. Crystal healing kits, chakra balancing supplements, and energy-infused wellness products sit directly alongside FDA-approved medications and legitimate vitamins. This strategic placement creates a false equivalence, suggesting that healing crystals are just as valid as proven medicine. A Christian grandmother seeking natural supplements for joint pain might easily purchase a product promising healing through rose quartz energy, not realizing she's buying into Hindu spiritual concepts rather than actual healthcare. The pharmacy environment lends these questionable products an air of scientific credibility they absolutely do not deserve. Jeremiah 8:22 asks pointedly, "Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there?" What makes this situation particularly concerning for Christians is how it undermines both biblical faith and legitimate medicine simultaneously. The Bible teaches us to trust God as our healer and to use wisdom, which includes proper medical care when needed. These crystal and energy-based products offer a third path that contradicts both approaches, teaching people to place their faith in mystical forces that have no basis in scripture or science. Young Christians especially may be drawn to these products because they seem more natural or holistic, not understanding that the spiritual worldview behind them directly opposes the gospel. The packaging uses terms like healing vibrations, energy alignment, and spiritual wellness that sound modern and health-conscious, but actually describe occult concepts. Christians should expect more from establishments that present themselves as healthcare providers. Pharmacies have a responsibility to offer products based on evidence, not mysticism. When you visit CVS or Walgreens, be aware that not everything in the wellness aisle is actually wellness. Some products are spiritual deception wrapped in health-conscious packaging. Stick to items with proven benefits and don't let the pharmacy environment convince you that crystal healing has suddenly become legitimate medicine. But everything we've discussed so far pales in comparison to our final store. Target has gone further than any other major retailer in actively promoting an agenda that contradicts biblical values, and what they've done has sparked massive boycotts from Christians across America. Target, founded in Minneapolis in 1962, built its brand as the upscale alternative to Walmart, attracting middle-class Christian families with clean store aesthetics, trendy products, and an image of wholesome family shopping. For decades, Target was the store where Christian mothers felt comfortable bringing their children, where the atmosphere seemed more refined and family-friendly than discount competitors. But in recent years, Target has undergone a dramatic transformation that has made it ground zero for cultural battles that directly affect Christian families. No other major retailer has so aggressively promoted an agenda that contradicts biblical sexuality and gender, and the evidence is impossible to ignore. Romans 1:25 warns about those who exchanged the truth about God for a lie and worshipped and served created things rather than the Creator. The controversy exploded in 2016 when Target announced that customers and employees could use bathrooms matching their gender identity rather than biological sex. Christian parents immediately raised concerns about safety and privacy, but Target dismissed these worries and doubled down on their policy. The backlash was significant, with millions of Christians signing boycott petitions. But rather than listening to concerned families, Target accelerated their agenda. Their Pride Month collections have grown increasingly provocative each year, featuring products specifically designed for children that celebrate gender ideology and LGBT lifestyles. In 2023, Target faced massive backlash for selling tuck-friendly swimwear and clothing designed by a Satanist designer, forcing them to move some displays after customer outrage and significant stock losses. Matthew 18:6 delivers a sobering warning. If anyone causes one of these little ones who believe in me to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. Nutri. Beyond the gender and sexuality issues, Target's home decor and wellness sections have embraced New Age spirituality with enthusiasm. Buddha statues, Hindu deity figurines, meditation accessories, and tarot-themed products fill their shelves, marketed as sophisticated home decor for modern families. Dream catchers hang in children's sections, and yoga merchandise promotes Eastern spiritual practices as simple exercise and stress relief. Target has created an environment where Christian families are constantly exposed to products celebrating worldviews that directly contradict biblical truth. The company's leadership has made clear through their actions and policies that biblical values are not welcome in their corporate vision. 1 Corinthians 10:21 states plainly, "You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons too. You cannot have a part in both the Lord's table and the table of demons." And Target represents the clearest example of a major retailer actively working against Christian values, rather than simply being passively influenced by cultural trends. Their policies, products, and public statements demonstrate an intentional choice to prioritize ideologies that conflict with Scripture. This doesn't mean every Christian must immediately stop shopping at Target, but it does mean believers should seriously consider where their money goes and what messages they're supporting. When you spend money at Target, you're financially supporting a company that has repeatedly shown hostility toward biblical principles, especially regarding children. Pray for wisdom about your shopping choices and consider whether more neutral alternatives might better align with your family's values. These 5 stores may seem like convenient places to shop, but as Christians, we must be aware of what we're supporting with our money and what we're bringing into our homes. From Costco's promotion of New Age literature to H&M's occult-themed fashion, from Walmart's spiritual wellness products to CVS and Walgreens blending mysticism with medicine, and finally, Target's open agenda against biblical values, the pattern is clear. Major retailers are no longer neutral ground. They've become platforms for ideologies and spiritual practices that contradict Scripture. This doesn't mean you must never step foot in these stores again, but it does mean you need to shop with discernment and be intentional about where your dollars go. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 stores surprised you the most? Comment below with your answer and the country you're watching from. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with Christian friends and family who need this warning. In our next video, we'll reveal more hidden dangers that Christians face in everyday life, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. May God give you wisdom and discernment in every area of your life, including your shopping choices.